Good evening, everybody. This is your host, Huge Pop, from the Huge Pop Wrestling Podcast. And with me tonight, we got, we got Cody Garnett, Nikki D, and Reek. What's going on, my guys?
What's going on, man?
It's been a minute. It's been a hot minute, and it's been almost only a week. So, but we're back, and we're Huge Pop Wrestling Podcast, and we got some things to unwind and talk about. And some of us have some things to get off our chest, more passionate than others, and it should be a good night, and we'll try to get through this within an hour so everybody can go to bed and be happy for tomorrow. So,
I mean, I won't be happy for tomorrow, but that's besides the point.
Friday, November 15th, we all got to witness what some would say a Netflix problem and some boxing issues. We were all hyped up. We've been hyped up for how many months to see Mike Tyson and Logan Paul and all the talk about that. And I honestly didn't realize the undercard, but the undercard, in my opinion, was so much better than the main event. So, boys that watched it, what do you guys' take on that Friday night debacle, which I would call, I think one of us said it in the chat before, Netflix has got a big issue unless they fix it.
Well, like we were talking about, they weren't ready for that many people, man. A lot more people tuned in than what they were expecting. So that just, you can tell you're sitting there watching like, yeah, you're just watching the buffer. Yeah. Pretty soon it became the game of let's count how many seconds until this actually goes away.
Set that aside. Hey, Matt Dulles, what was your thoughts? What would you say was the best fight of the night? Nikki D, let's go with you, man, first.
Best fight of the entire night?
Me.
Okay, it's close to me. I'd almost say it's a tie. You had Reek, calm down. The women's bout easily.
Katie Taylor and Serrano.
And then you had who was it? Ramos and
Barrios.
Barrios. Yeah. They war. That was a war. That was an absolute war. So I enjoyed both of those just the same. They were both, to me, it's hard to pick between those two. I thought that undercard was lit. It really, really was. But if I had to pick, oh, shoot, I don't know. You'll have to come back to me because I have a hard time picking between those two.
Cody Garnett, you watched the fights.
I did. I watched the two Mexican combatants, the two Mexican warriors go at it. That was a good fight. And then Taylor Cenero 2. I didn't even see the first one, but apparently that was an MSG, and what a fight to have at MSG to now come to AT&T Stadium in Texas. This is what women's combat sport should be. Period. Hands down, no questions asked. This is now the most watched women's sporting event in U.S. history, with over 50 million people watching this match alone.
Yep. How awesome was that?
It went 8 rounds. Reek, I know where you're going to go. I know how you're going to go ballistic because I don't understand boxing. I really don't. For why it went 8 rounds, because the Cenero should have knocked out Taylor in fucking seconds. Besides the point. The fact that the rounds went the way they did in the scoring, don't understand how scoring works either. I'm just like, okay, people say it's controversial. I would like to understand how it's controversial. That's all I got. I thought the fight was good. Other than that, I need to understand.
Well, Huge Pop, let me get your take on it because you were shaking your head no when he said that.
Okay, so I watched that fight, but I had to go watch it back. Because I was wondering myself, because when I first initially watched that fight, Serrano man, she's a beast. She's a warrior. I don't know but they were both of them were great. Katie Taylor, she stood in there. She took the fight. She took what she had to do. And I'm so sorry to people that think that Serena got screwed, but that's boxing, right? That's boxing. You lean in with that head. That's boxing. I don't think she intentionally bust her head open. I don't believe that. I watched it back. I think she outfought Serena. I'd give Katie Taylor the win.
Can you mute him? Can we just mute him?
I can't mute the host. I can't mute the host.
I found this up here. I found this interesting, and I landed 107 more punches. She got point deducted, and I lost 94-94, laughing my ass off.
Yeah.
I get that, but she got out. I mean, so you're going to take everything away from Taylor. Taylor went in there. She's a beast too.
See, nobody's taking anything away from her. She did a phenomenal job. The first couple rounds, she kind of got rocked, but she started coming back. She started holding her own. So now you got this phenomenal fight going on. But Serrano just freaking the whole time, man. And like she just pointed out, she had the point deducted. Katie did. So now it's like, how did she still win that fight when we all saw the same fight? Everybody in the crowd saw the same fight. You heard all the boos. Everybody agreed she got screwed. Hands down. Taylor, phenomenal fighter. That was the best fight. Nikki D, best fight of the night. That was hands down best fight of the night. Serrano got screwed. Irritating. That's irritating. But it's boxing. It is what happens. That's why you don't want to let it go to a decision, because you never know what's going to happen in the judge's eyes. That's the hard part about it.
Yeah.
So can I say this from from a very, 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 very casual fan of boxing? There were 4 headbutts. The first one was on purpose. The second one was not. The third one was not, because at that point it looked like they just looked like they were hitting each other in the head at that point. And the fourth one was on purpose, I do believe. The way that I watched those back, I'm like, fourth one is a debatable one. But second and third one, you can see as accidents. But the first one, she went head first, and she did that on purpose.
But that's her style. That was her.
Yeah.
Watch her fights. And that dumbass manager for Serrano said it. She does that every fight.
Yeah.
That's her style. If Serrano wasn't prepared for that, tough shit, you should have been.
Well, Serrano, her manager, he went off the deep end. I'm just going to say that. That guy went off the deep end. I just was like, dude, chill out, man. You got to chill out. There are differences in style, okay? And it happens where 2 fighters are coming together. One is coming in, and the other one is taller. The one who's shorter is going to, it'll almost look like an intentional headbutt. Now they'll lead with the gloves covering up, come inside, and the head's coming in. If the other fighter is coming down, they're not paying attention. They're moving, they're bobbing, they're doing stuff like that, but you're moving so fast, those heads can come together. They looked unintentional to me. That's why I thought he needed to chill out. But the problem is, she didn't make the adjustment after the official warned her to do so. She didn't. And then he deducted the point. When he deducted the point, I was like, okay, that's harsh, but he's not playing. And I was pulling for Serrano in this fight, okay? But I will say the travesty of this match is how good this bout was, but this is all that's going to get talked about. I thought that deduction was going to make it like really close, or Serrano was going to win and Taylor was going to lose, period. Because it is hard to overcome. Like you go from having like a 10 round or a 9 round to an 8 round. It's impossible. It's like darn near impossible to overcome. And I've watched boxing since as long as I've watched professional wrestling, and I've seen it happen before, where you just get you get a judge's, the judges give their score, and you're kind of like, Like I was a Julio Cesar Chavez. This is where my mind goes.
Mm-hmm.
He was one of my favorite fighters of all time. He fought an excellent fighter in Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker. Julio Cesar Chavez was undefeated. Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker gave it to him. And I was scared because I'm like, oh my gosh, he might lose. And it was a unanimous decision. And everybody was like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? So there's sometimes the judges will kind of lean towards somebody that they kind of like or they respect, if they're in good standing with that organization. And I think that's what happened there. And it was an excellent fight. It's just a shame that that's what will be talked about. But they did. I'm not going to sit here and lie. They judged that. I don't know how they did those points. It should have been a lot closer. I don't know how there was that much separation on the final scorecards.
No, I agree with
watching
that.
boxing all the time that I did, especially with a point getting deducted, for they said intentional headbutts. So that hurts a fighter.
Mm-hmm.
I
It
agree
was
with that.
incredible.
It appeared to be a lot closer than what this final score was.
And with the headbutt thing, man, like Nikki, like a lot of fighters do that. The way they go in, kind of put your shoulder down, and you also put your head down, kind of leaning in, so you can get closer because you don't want to catch that jab to the face. Yep. So it's gonna happen. So I don't think people should really knock on her for that, man.
No. So
there was one that really did look intentional. Like I think she got irritated and just went. I was like,
that was a great fight, a really great fight, which unfortunately led into, in my opinion, I'm just going to get that off my chest, of a piece of embarrassment. Let's take 5 minutes or 6 minutes to talk about the Tyson Paul fight. It was embarrassing. If I had to be honest, I was telling Edie when we were watching it, this is embarrassing for me to watch, especially after having two major, big, great fights coming up to this. Yeah, did we know that this was a fixed or a exhibition? Yes, but the Tyson that walked into that ring and fought was not the Tyson we were seeing in training camp. No way, no how. He was so shaky on his legs after the first. Now he landed that rounds. He landed that first punch, and it shocked the hell out of Logan Paul because he's like, "What the fuck?" And he ran. Jake Paul. Yeah, he ran. You see that he turned and ran. I'm like, "Oh my God, Tyson's got him on. He's going to get him." Then all of a sudden, it seemed like he started biting the glove. He started shaking, and he started not really. It looked like he didn't.
His mouthpiece. There's one or two things. Huge pop that could have been happening there. Not to cut you off. There's one or two things that could have been happening. And I believe both could be true. One is he got rocked. And so Jake was hesitant to come in because that's the fear. If you come in, geez, I'm gonna get popped. I'm gonna get caught by this guy who still has his power. He doesn't have all of his legs, which is where a lot of your power comes from. And they were wearing those different style gloves.
Yeah.
They were like the
gloves.
Yeah, which takes a lot of that off. But those hits are still going to hurt. So he probably was like, I want to come in, but I don't want to get hit. Or it also could have been some of that. Just we're just going to try to give people a show, and out of respect, we're not going to we're going to pull our punches, so to speak. The first two rounds, it was pretty hot and heavy, and then after that, it just slowed way down.
Yeah, like Cody, you're my numbers guy. So if you would do some little research here and see, because if I remember correctly, if Tyson was to knock him out within the first round, he would not get paid that much money. If they would finish the whole fight, my man walked away, bing, 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 bing. So, I believe that also played a factor.
So, okay, I'm going to go over the numbers real quick because I have been doing my research on this because I already had a page pulled up for all the numbers. if anybody had to take a guess, what was the average ticket price at AT&T Stadium for this event?
Average price?
Average
200.
price.
No, I'm
I'd
gonna say
say
450.
200, 300.
650.
Nikki is the closest at 300. It was 304 per ticket on average. It generated $18.1 million in gate revenue, which is doubled for the last time, which was Canelo Alvarez versus Billy Joe Saunders in 2021 at AT&T Stadium, which only gathered $9 million.
Canelo Alvarez, he's a fighter.
Paul and Tyson had already been paid before the fight. So whatever the outcome was, it didn't matter. Everybody was already paid for the fight. Jake Paul made $40 million. For the fight, Mike Tyson made $20 million.
What was their inclination in there where if somebody got knocked out or whatever?
Nope, there is no at least from what I'm reading here, there is no inclination about that.
Yeah. Usually you would never have that. It would be between the two fighters. And that's been around since, the days of Jack Dempsey. You have two fighters, if they have an exhibition or if they have something like that, it will be like more of like a verbal type thing between them, but it'll never be put on paper. It'll never be, because they don't want it getting out, getting leaked to the public, if they're going to take it easy on each other. And so it's usually just like a hush-hush little verbal thing. Like, yeah, we're going to go easy. We're going to give the crowd a show. Well, we're hit, but I'm not going to try and knock you out so long as you don't try and knock me out. But it's always kept hush-hush. That's boxing's. They've done that. Fighters have done that for a long time. That's what I'm saying. Jack Dempsey, it probably could have happened before that.
Right. So the average minute audience Netflix had streaming globally on average per minute was 108 million live viewers globally for this event. The event peaked at 65 million concurrent streams, which is why we probably had the freaking buffer problems, with just under 40 million concurrent streams in the U.S. total. And these are all diverged from TV Vision data in the U.S. and first-party data global markets. So, is it a success? 100%.
Yep.
Was it the worst fight in history? Maybe.
Yeah, it was.
Did this remind me of a WCW pay-per-view? Of course.
Now,
all I gotta say is that both them guys walked away with more money than what they came in with.
Yep. Now I will say this: I thought this was kind of interesting, and I'm glad Jake did this. I really am. But I want to see him. I want to see him go up against Canelo Alvarez. You want to be a badass and call that guy out? He did. He called him out. I think that's a mistake. I don't think you're that good of a fighter. Alvarez.
Canelo's not that old either.
No, he'll beat the brakes off of him.
Canelo's not that sometimes, but hey, he had to do something like this. First off, it's my understanding, I think he helped put a lot of this together.
He did.
It was Jake Paul who put a lot. Yeah. So what he did was huge. Yes. It was huge. We think about the women's, about how all the exposure that they got, all of these fighters fighting on the undercard, all of that stuff. That's huge. Like, just for the sport of boxing, that was massive. And for a 58-year-old fighter to turn it around and get himself into the best shape that he could to get in there and go those 2-minute rounds. In my opinion, I wasn't upset watching it. I just had to tell myself he's not, I don't know. I just, in my mind, I just was trying to ask myself if if he's pulling, like if Tyson was pulling his punches, or if he just didn't, if 58-year-old Tyson can't move like, he could in his prime. So when he sees the opening, because Jake left his arms down a lot, like he was dropping his arms when he was coming in, and Tyson in his prime would have knocked his head off. But you could see him like as he's thinking about it, and then it's just not there, and then he's off balance. So that was a lot of it too. And a lot of your power, he drives up from his legs. He always has. That's how he would just rock people to the body with the body shots, uppercuts, all this. He was a killer. He still is, but in that type of thing, he's 58 and this dude's 27. He's gonna just keep his distance and stay alive. And he got blasted a couple times by Jake. Like Jake popped him a few times, and Mike took him. He took those punches and kept on coming. So it's like, I wasn't upset. I just was like, I was happy to see Mike in there. And I think I sent this in the group text too. I said, to me, this was kind of the best ending you could have, to where both, in the end, they both look good. And, people can't really, they want to dog Jake Paul, like, oh, you beat a 58-year-old, but he went the distance. And Mike showed that he could get in there and still go, even though he slowed way down after the first 2 rounds. If he would have knocked Jake out, Jake was done. Could he have? Yeah, if Jake would have stayed still long enough, but the thing is like that. I don't want to keep rambling. I'm sorry, but there's a certain look. Okay, I've watched that dude since I was a kid, and there's a certain look in his eyes. It's I'm going to murder you in this ring right now. I'm going to murder you. He didn't have that when he came to the ring. And he always had that look. And as soon as he came walking out, I looked at his eyes when he was standing in the ring. I'm like, he's not going to try and murder Jake.
When the ref's talking, he's eyeball. You can see the killer in his eyes, like he's ready to go.
Yeah, and he wasn't looking at Jake like that. So that's what made me think he's controlled right now, man. He's keeping himself in check. And it's like, okay. So that was the first inclination I got, that they may be like, hey, let's not kill each other. So I don't know.
I just want to point out, I had a bet in my head that I was hoping that would come to fruition and it would piss everybody off, and I would just sit there with the fire surround me going, this is fine. This is nice. I wanted Jake Paul to knock out the 59-year-old man past his prime in 30 seconds or less and watch the whole world burn, and just, that's what I wanted. I wanted chaos. I wanted anarchy. That's what I wanted. I didn't get it. It was okay. But it is what it is at this point. It's a successful attempt at whatever happened. We have over 1.4 billion impressions across Netflix global social channels. The numbers don't lie.
No.
This was successful. This was successful across the board, regardless how you look at it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I will say this: Jake Paul earned my respect. Okay.
Yeah.
And he did.
Same here.
After the first 2 rounds, like the third and fourth round, I'm like, oh my god, this is going to be like a Ric Flair retirement match. That was horrible. But I honestly thought Tyson was going to go. I was like, oh my god. But out of respect, you heard Jake say this. Out of respect, I wanted to give the fans a show. I wanted him to finish. I wanted to be able to say Mike and I finished the show. That's mad respect.
That's respect.
Yes, it is.
And for me, when he said that, yeah, Jake, you got my respect now.
And I said the exact same thing, man. I was like, the fact, like, if you notice the last couple of rounds, Mike was just gone.
Yeah.
And Jake could have went in for the kill.
Absolutely.
He really could have.
Oh, yeah. That's a respect thing.
It reminded me of the McGregor and Mayweather towards the last couple of rounds. McGregor didn't have his legs anymore. Right. So, Mayweather just said, right. Took care of him. But,
yeah, that was all intentional.
Uh-huh. So then we moved into, I don't know everybody else. Did anybody watch SmackDown? After that, after they watched
Before we get to SmackDown, can I just say, did anybody see the John Jones? Did anybody watch that?
yes. Oh my God.
I
Oh, the
saw
final John
highlights.
Jones fights?
That was also Saturday, wasn't it?
Saturday, yeah.
Yeah, see, I only got to see highlights of that.
That's a beast, man.
Well, I just watched the highlight of the fight, but I was like,
Right.
or the whole fight.
Bro, I just am like, how is that guy still fighting? I feel like he's been fighting for 100 years.
He beat the.
This was his last fight, wasn't it?
He's not done.
No, he said he's not done.
He got the
John
belt.
Jones is not done. This guy's been doing at least, I can't even think of how long. Because I remember when John Jones first, he's fought different weights.
Mm-hmm.
He's an incredible fighter. I was like, oh my gosh, this is the same John Jones. He just
That spinning heel kick.
Yeah.
Through the ribs.
Yeah.
dude, I'll tell you from experience, that seizes everything up. If they get a good shot in where it's good flesh, like a good bam, you might feel fine for half a second. And then all your obliques tense up, and then your freaking arteries and stuff are like, hold on a second, and you
I'll
drop.
tell you guys from experience, a certain older brother has done that to people before.
Oh, dude, not intentionally.
Come on,
Oh
man.
yeah, but
Not
yeah,
intentionally.
you'll be fine. Breathe it out.
So, what on SmackDown do you want to talk about specifically, Scott? 'Cause I feel like you have a topic in mind.
And it's about my favorite storyline, and it just
Cody Rhodes? No.
no, hell no. It just added to
Just throw that in there.
how good they're doing this. You got Roman in the back at the end of the show,
Oh gosh, yes.
and he goes, "Call the wise men," because at this point he's not sure. I think he's scared to death of the 5 that they have. And they ought to be. Because when you had Bronson Reed to that mix, holy balls. Anyways, so Roman's back in there sweating his ass off because he's nervous, I think. He calls the wise men, and you hear, beep, beep, beep. This number no longer exists.
Yeah.
And the look on his face was like.
And he dropped the phone. Okay, I just want to rewind. First off, he's not scared. Okay, so you can't say that about the OTC. He's just stressed out because they can't get anybody else to join their group because they spent all that time beating the crap out of everybody. So they have like no friends. Even Sammy, who's agreed to come with them. I thought the whole thing when they talked with Seth was awesome.
Yes.
It was awesome. It was just, he said, I would go to bat with you, Sammy. And he was talking about Jay and Jimmy. He's like, I do not trust Roman Reigns. And all that stuff is like, Roman made a lot of enemies. So it's just so cool. But if you think about it, every time it showed them during SmackDown, Jay was like, you got to make the call, man. You got to make the call. And I was like, who is he called? In my mind, honestly, I was thinking like Dean Ambrose or something. I was just thinking outside the box. I was like, are they really going to steal Moxley? I was thinking like, what's going to happen? And then when he said, that whole thing was like something out of a movie. What you're talking about.
Yeah.
So good.
Spot on.
So good. It was just like a movie.
Wrestler Moxley. He loves him to death, man. He'd be so excited if he came to WWE.
So that's my question. I guess that's my question. We'll start with Cody Rhodes or Cody Cornette.
I actually would be okay if Moxley came back to WWE because I like him more as Ambrose than Moxley.
Who will be their 5th man?
Seth.
I think it'll be Seth. Because
the brand
Solo
just got pushed in there.
Yeah, and Solo screwed him at his last match. Solo Sikoa showed up at ringside, so he stuck his nose out there. I think Seth maybe will have a change of heart. I think it'll be Seth, but the Paul Heyman thing is interesting. It's definitely interesting. So
I'm going to take everybody back to the SmackDown after WrestleMania when Solo brings in Tongaloa. Or Tama Tonga. Tama
Yeah,
Tonga.
Tama Tonga
Tama
came first.
Tonga. Yeah.
Paul Heyman pulls out his Roman phone and
Yeah.
goes, call Roman Reigns. And Solo takes the phone, smashes it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we have the disconnected number.
But never, if I ever slam the phone on the ground and it still rings, it doesn't, just because I break my phone.
No, you break the phone, it will do. Cody, you're a genius.
Hold
think
on,
about
Scott's
that.
right.
I forgot all about that.
Hold on. This is one of the glaring plot holes, though, that really pisses me off. Paul Heyman is a freaking fugal son of a bitch. He has so much money. He bought Apple products. It's all synced to your shit. You can't just lose a fucking number. Damn.
But it still goes with the story, though. It still goes with the story.
Number 2. He lost the Roman phone. He still has the final boss phone. Remember, he had 2 phones. One for The Rock, one for Roman.
Heyman?
Yes.
I thought he only had one.
No, he would do this. Call Roman Reigns. Call The Rock.
Mm-hmm.
He did. He did.
Do I like these theories? No, because these are from people that are watching this too intently and now making me think that I'm going to lose my fucking shit. Because, again, glaring butthole. He has Apple products.
Jesus Christ.
He has a fucking iPhone. Both of them would have synced up with each other so all the contacts would be on both phones.
Okay. But back up a little bit to what you just said. Let's back up a little bit to what you just said.
I don't want to.
He had his his own rock phone, right? He had the final boss phone.
Yes.
What if he's that 5th member? What did it mean when he showed up at what pay-per-view was that? When he came out, he went like this or went like that.
Yeah, he went
like this.
To Cody.
Yeah. And then he walked away. He probably was doing it to Cody, but he showed up. What if he's that 5th member?
I don't think The Rock's going to be a 5th member. Again, everybody has their own opinions, and I will start saying it like that from now on. I will never say that people are wrong. I personally think Rock is not going to be a part of anything until SummerSlam. I think, personally, we're not going to get Roman Rock until SummerSlam. I don't think Rocky is going to be a part of anything, like, physically, until then. Storyline-wise, could he show up and be like, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to be the final boss, do this, that, and the other thing? Fine. No issue with that. Do I think that Rock is going to call Paul Heyman and be like, you go with Solo? I don't care if Roman is the tribal chief. I'm your final boss. You listen to me. Roman might not get Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman may join the new bloodline out of fear.
I don't think so. He stayed with them reluctantly. Remember, he was always uncomfortable around them. Mm-hmm. He was always uncomfortable, and then they turned on him.
So let me ask you just real quick, because I really do believe it'll be Seth, but I was wondering, I thought this a couple weeks ago, I don't know if he's seriously hurt or not. I can't remember. Braun Strowman.
No, I'm not going to say anything.
I just wondered about him because he has a lot of beef with Bronson Reed, even though Seth does. But so does
they do right now. That's the current beef.
Yeah.
If it's not Seth, my opinion, I think you're going to see it's going to mess everybody up because I don't think nobody on both sides like this guy. But I would not, you can't forget about Brock Lesnar. You cannot forget about him.
Oh,
Yes, we can.
Yeah,
Yes, we
because didn't they write him off of everything?
I don't know. He's not under contract anymore?
Nope.
Okay.
No. He was. They once they did his trial and all that stuff. I thought all that stuff was done and that he was going to come back.
No, it was how many days ago, Cody? He was completely. They completely took his name.
I did
off.
not know that, so that's my.
I didn't know that either.
They're trying to Chris Benoit him practically.
But the common sense is Seth Rollins. I mean, that makes sense. The best. I would not. I'm not a fan of that. I'm not.
I almost wonder to see CM Punk, a Paul Heyman guy.
That's kind of where
possible.
people are going. It's going to be a Paul Heyman guy, whether it be if Lesnar does show up, fine, whatever. Who cares? He was named in the thing, but nothing happened with it. Fine, I don't give a shit.
A Paul Heyman guy.
Yeah, but if it's CM Punk, I mean, it kind of makes sense, but at the same time, it doesn't, because it's like, why are we bringing Punk back a month later after Hell in a Cell, where Drew McIntyre may not be coming back until at least the Rumble?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Good point.
But
Good
So let him heal, for God's sake.
What if it's?
Go on.
No, I was going to say, what about if it's not a Heyman guy? Like, well, obviously, Seth's not a Paul Heyman guy. So, okay, so if we're thinking Seth, then what about somebody like a crazy wild card that maybe we don't see coming? What if it's that this is one of those events that John Cena does? What if it's him?
No,
Yeah,
he's not showing up until
He said
25.
he's not showing up until 2025.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's not showing
Never
up
mind.
until the first Netflix Raw.
Dang. Okay.
and to get off these tangents and forget about Raw, and we mess Raw. There's a lot that, in my opinion, happened on Raw, I guess.
There's a lot that happened on Raw that I am very surprised that actually being a double taped Raw, I am very surprised that we got a lot that we got.
Right. One of my favorite segments, and this will probably blow you guys away, was the transformation of Bull Dallas into Bray Wyatt. My God, that was
That was going to be mine.
that was done so well, so perfect, so oh my God.
He's
That was one of my favorite moments.
Yeah, I almost thought it was him talking. A couple of times it startled me.
At first, I'm like, that's not Bray, is it? And then I'm like, no, that's Bo.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
Yeah, it startled me. Like a couple, I was like, good Lord, man.
Yeah. I was like, oh my
Yeah,
God.
it was good. That was very good.
Mm-hmm.
Also, an unhinged Miz, like trying to think of his next director for the Marine 7.
Yeah.
Love that. Love all of that. Keep that. Go with it hard. Oh my God, is that entertaining?
It
Yep.
was entertaining. Even there really wasn't that much of a bad matches on that whole show either. I mean, you could go down Rey Mysterio and Zelina Vega versus Chad Gable and Ivy Nile.
Nile.
That was a good. I mean, Ray looked really good.
Yeah.
Ray's in his 50s.
I know.
For real.
Like, goddamn, he is he is the greatest luchador of all time. I'm sorry
Easily.
if anybody's going to get mad at that.
Yeah.
But goddamn,
easily.
he's in his 50s. He's doing all this shit still like he's 20.
Yeah.
God bless him.
He was like,
Yep.
Tyson, let me show you how to do this.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see Gunther have his hands full with Damian Priest.
Oh, yes.
That's going to be a good match to watch. And that segment
Oh, yeah.
was pretty hot, pretty solid with Ludwig in there and all that. That was pretty solid too. So, what's your guys' take on that?
Oh, when he he showed up, he screwed up what match was it?
Braun Breaker and Sheamus.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I never want to give that guy credit, but that was pretty sweet. And I just it left a bad taste in my mouth because it was such a good match. It's a physical match, dude.
Hold on. Still not thinking. I gotta pull
That's
this
what I
up.
saw too.
It was a physical match, dude.
Oh my God. What the hell?
I don't even know how to
Couldn't even read that.
react to that other than you didn't even read it? I'll read it to you. Why does the dude in the gray shirt look like a rhino's nutsack? That is, I don't even know how to react to that. That is, other than just laugh. That is that's a comment. That is a troll comment, and it's funny. Like,
Yeah.
fuck.
Don't forget to follow and subscribe to our channel, Paul.
There you go. They must know what a rhino's nutsack looks like up close and personal. So,
Hey, if you go to the zoo, they're right up against
They're
the glass
right there,
sometimes, and it is a horrible sight to see.
Cody,
Yeah.
clip that and put it on shorts.
oh, you guys didn't think that? You guys didn't think that was a good match, though?
No, I like that. I thought his interaction, I thought Ludwig's interaction and everything he was doing is phenomenal.
It worked. It worked. I just at first I was upset because that's how the match ended, but he went off, man. Like the way he was moving around that ring, his clothes on. Then he did that crazy where he, who was it? Sheamus, I think, that was sitting down, by the steel steps, and he darted around the ring and flew and did like that drop kick. I was like, dang, dude. So he's a little better than I give him credit. He's one of those ones that's sneaking up on me.
This is Breakker and Sheamus' second match where it's a no contest. And I don't know if I am okay with it. The first one was on speed. It was a 3-minute match, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And ended in a no contest due to time limit. Now this one's a no contest because Ludwig Kaiser's involved. Obviously, I expect a triple threat match between the three for the IC belt somewhere down the line. But we gotta stop having a no contest for this match. I want to see who fucking wins, goddammit!
Well, are we?
That's why I had the bad taste in my mouth. I'm like,
Champ?
Gotta take this, guys. Keep on going.
Are we ever going to have Sheamus as an IC champ? Like ever?
Probably not. Probably not. Same reason why we won't have John Cena as an IC champ.
oh, that's the one. But that's the one title he hasn't held.
Yep, John Cena is not a Grand Slam champion.
Grand Slam champion. That blows my mind. That blows my mind.
Sheamus nor John Cena. There's a lot of people that are not Grand Slam champions. Surprisingly.
The Grand Slam used to consist of obviously like your World Heavyweight Championship, the IC title, the European title when that thing was still floating around,
Yes.
and then
That
like
was
tag team championships.
Yep.
I don't know what it consists of now because you don't have
So specifically to the WWE, the Grand Slam is the WWE Championship specifically. It's not necessarily you have to be a world champion. You have to have held the WWE Championship.
okay.
The IC belt, the US belt, and a tag title.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the Universal Championship, that one doesn't. Well, wait.
Does not count towards Grand Slam.
Okay, so if they have that,
The belt that Cody has currently is the belt you need to clarify yourself as a Grand Slam.
okay, has Randy Orton been a Grand Slam champion?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
He became a Grand Slam champion in 2018 when he won the U.S. title.
Okay. Gotcha.
Think about that. It took him that long. 12 years.
I can't even remember him having the IC title.
IC belt he had in 2003 to 2004.
Yeah, you got
Beat RVD at Armageddon.
Oh my god.
2003 for the title.
So, what did you guys think about the, Rhea coming back and now you got the women's War Games match?
I'm going last.
I'm gonna just say this: none of us are never. I don't think any of us would want to get headbutted by that bitch. Because
Speak for yourself.
because that looks like when my grandma was when I was around my grandma and she would headbutt me because I would make my mom mad. That's what that feels. I think that was what that would feel like. I mean, I got headbutted enough. I would not want to get headbutted by Rhea Ripley at all. And yeah, you look like you're confused, Cody. I did get
So
headbutted.
confused. I've never heard anybody say that about their grandmother.
I got headbutted by my grandma. I tell you what. when I made my, this is what she said to me. When I upset my mom, my grandma come up to me. She grabbed me by my ears and she said, "That's my baby." Bam. And she headbutts me.
Ooh.
Yeah, see, all my grandfather had to do was get up, and I was afraid.
There you go.
I didn't even have to. He didn't have to hit me. He just got up, and I'm like, nope, not today, not my day, not my day.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think I'm excited. I guess we can talk about the War Games next week, but I'm not excited about the women's War Games. I think you got
about the women's match. Is that what you mean? You're not excited about the event or just the ladies match?
Ladies match. I think you got a bunch of. I ain't gonna say it because I'll get in trouble. I think we got a bunch of.
Tell us how you really feel, Huge Pop.
Out of shape, testosterone-filled women and some sexy women too, trying to make a match. They look out of play. I mean, you got Piper Niven, you got Nia Jax.
I was gonna say one woman on that entire thing was out of shape.
Well, they look all. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not excited.
You make a good point because that's what I thought when they were all together. It's an odd pairing.
Very odd pairing.
Absolutely.
It's an odd pairing. Putting everybody. It's like this is an odd pairing. Maybe it could work, but I get where you're coming from.
I don't think it's going to work. I think that's going to be the boringest match in the world. I think that obviously it's going to center around Rhea Ripley and her coming back, and it's not one of my favorites. And that segment to me was dumb. With them all in the ring.
Except for when she came out, was I the only one who got like serious Marilyn Manson vibes when she came out? She looked creepy. She looked creepy. She had the whole dark and everything in her hair. I was like, dang, dude, she's got that Marilyn Manson thing going. And she's always kind of doing that stuff. So she looked scary and intimidating, but she had that Marilyn Manson look going. I was like, holy crap.
And she goes, War Games.
Yeah.
2 words. 2 words. That's it, man. Damn. I was like, headbutt, hey, you shouldn't be doing that. But I didn't think she'd be cleared yet.
That's why she has the mask.
Yeah, but still, I mean,
yeah, I
thought she'd be gone longer.
Like I said, I really feel like it was just thrown together, forced together. Like it's just not going to be that good.
But Cody's itching. He's gonna.
The only thing, I'm not even itching. It's like I don't even have to talk on this one. All 3 of you are just like saying everything that I would say. The only thing different that I would say is let's have steak before we have steak. Like that's pretty much what we're going to be doing with this stupid match.
Yep.
Here's how the match is going to go. We're going to have a 5-on-5 War Games match where we're going to have strength spots between Cargill and Bianca Belair, where there's like fucking 2 Towers of Doom on opposite sides of the rings, and fucking and then do that, and then Io Sky's gonna jump off the fucking top of the cage with a garbage can for some stupid ass reason, because that'd be the 4th time in a row she fucking done that, and if no one fucking moves, no one's watching tape! So what the fuck is going on? Jesus Christ! Fuck! Again! Steak before steak, this match will mean nothing, it's complete bullshit. Equality is nothing. Fuck off. Move on.
Okay, moving on.
I told you. I could see him shaking. I saw his hand shaking. He was like, I'm trying not to cut loose, man. But
damn it. A traditional 5-on-5, you could still do all the same stupid spots without the trash can.
Yeah, I would like to see the traditional 5-on-5 again. Don't get me wrong, I like the War Games, I do, but can we go back like the steel cage? Can we go back to a traditional steel cage? No pin, no submission. You just have to.
Yeah, I know. You just escape. That's the only way you win. Yeah, and the traditional 5-on-5 matches, those are they were huge. They did it a couple of years ago. And then they've gone away from it for so long. They did it once and then they went away from it again. I kind of miss that too.
Absolutely. I mean, we got 10 minutes left. We'll talk about the men's, what happened for the first time. And I hate to say this because I'll get shit on, but I was watching that match.
Did he tell you he
the
loved
whole
you
thing?
first?
The whole thing that, huh?
None.
I was watching the whole thing unfold with you had who was in the ring?
Rollins and Reed.
Bronson Reed and Seth Rollins. And I thought to myself, this is the dumbest thing I'm watching tonight. When out of the crowd comes OG and out of the crowd comes the new. And it looked like it was so shittily, horribly thrown together. Like it was just, oh, jump over the thing, oh, do this. And then that set, they beat the piss out of each other, and then it was over. And then we had Bronson Reed and Seth Rollins. To me, I don't think that was done as good as it should have been or could have been with the OGs coming down, and we had Solo come down. The best part of the match was when Solo appeared on top of the announce table, and just for the first time I thought, oh my God, this guy is lit, because the smile that he had on his face, the control he had over Bronson Reed, he's like, yeah, that's my boy.
Mm-hmm.
That moment, I'm like, if I'm Roman Reigns in that moment, I'm like, I'm fucked up. Right? If Roman Reigns is sitting, he goes, in this moment, I fucked up, because he did. Because that team of Tamaloa, whoever those two are, Fatu, Bronson, and Solo, that's going to be you're going to see bodies hitting the floor, and people, and but the funny part was, because Edie said to me, she goes, they're just family, all beating the hell out of each other. And I said to her, I bet you they're in their glory. These guys, everybody, Solo, all these guys, Jay and Jamie Roman, just out in there in that one area, ring area, beating the hell out of each other. They're probably loving this. They're like, oh yeah, when we were growing up as kids, we did this, So they're having fun, which I think that's what makes the storyline really good. But last night when I watched Solo appear up on that stage, and he looked at him and he's like, yep. I mean, oh my God, in that moment he looked powerful. And I thought that was a great way to end it.
Is this the strongest, in your opinion, is this the strongest that Solo has looked?
Absolutely.
Yes.
I said that last night. I said he is in charge.
Okay.
Yes.
This guy looks like he has everything together.
Yeah, I give you that.
I'll say this. Roman does not look strong. He looks feared. He looks in trouble. He looks confused. He's not prepared, and he better get prepared over this next week, because it's going to be a long Survivor Series if he's not.
Well, it's like, it takes me back to, I mean, look how they keep beating him down. Mm-hmm. You guys remember leading up to the Michaels and Austin, was it 2-3 weeks in a row? Michaels knocked him out with Sweet Chin.
Yeah.
There.
He got the better of Austin multiple times
before they wrestled. And then, so it just, to me, I was like, man, I don't think Austin can take him. And, then Austin just ends up beating him. So be something like that where you think Roman, he's already lost technically twice to him now. Right. Isn't it twice? Because I
thought it was just once, but is it twice?
Tag team, wasn't it? They lost the tag team.
Solo has not beaten Roman yet.
Because he pinned him in the tag team, right?
He pinned him.
Pinned him in the tag team. I'm just saying
in the tag match, though.
In the 6-man, yes, he pinned him in the 6-man, but they won Cody and him won the original tag match at Bad Blood. So it's 1-1 technically, if you want to look at it.
That's right.
They did win. You have a good point too, Reek. That's kind of Roman is looking that way. He's lost. He's like out. He's basically out of options. He's playing that part really, really good, especially the way he put off making that call, and then when he made the call, there was nobody there, and he didn't even hang up. He just dropped the phone and sat there like,
yes. And
what am I going to do now?
His facial expression
makes it look like, like everything is against him, and everything is going. Everything's going in the direction of, the new bloodline, and they've got all the momentum and all this other crap. And the OG bloodline is still trying to find a fifth person, and they're completely outnumbered. So yeah, he does look that way. But it's like, I like how they are together. I like how they are together because it's like they were all under his thumb, and then all the stuff, like, it imploded. The group came apart, right? He went, and that whole thing happened where Cody finished the story at WrestleMania, and then Roman came back and was instantly like the biggest face in the company. And now these guys are coming back. They're all individuals, but together. Like they're all like, so that time that they were apart, they all did their own thing, and now they're back together, and they're still who they were. Like Sammy's still the Sammy that he was. Jimmy and Jay, it's like they're all together. And then when Roman's there too, it's like that's still Roman.
Yeah.
I like how they are now. I think it's awesome.
So go on.
I was watching Busted Open, and Levesque and Bubba Ray were talking. Levesque thinks they're all about Sami Zayn turning on the OGs. They think that having Sami Zayn on that team is the worst decision that Roman could ever have, or a team could ever make. He said if they stay, they see Sami Zayn turning on the OG bloodline or causing them to lose. So.
I hate that rumor because it annoys me, because what are you going to do with Sammy then? That's why I don't like it, because Sammy is so over with what he's doing right now. Like, are you going to have him turn on the bloodline and all? Like, I don't like that. If they go that direction.
It's funny you bring that up, Scott. So Triple H is all about very minute details. And small details that you need to pay attention to. Two things I'm going to bring up. One's about the Sami Zayn, and then the second one's about the New Day. The first one about Sami Zayn. When Solo's music hits and they're all in the dressing room and they all look at the TV, you need to look back and watch Sami Zayn. He goes from one hand out of his pocket to the other, takes a phone, throws it on the couch.
I didn't catch that.
Don't know what it means. I'm still trying to figure it out, but it's a small detail that you got to watch everything in the scenes. Second thing with the New Day. Scott, I'm almost guaranteeing you've never watched the show Dragon Ball Z, an anime, Japanese cartoon.
I've never seen it. You're almost correct.
Okay. No. Either of you two watch Dragon Ball Z?
Very little.
No,
very little.
Watched it.
Okay. Kofi Kingston is wearing a necklace that has an M on it. It is designed in the way of the Majin, which is from Dragon Ball Z. Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods, huge anime nerds. Kofi's wearing the Majin, which means that it turns a good guy into a bad guy, which is what happened with Vegeta. Makes me think that Kofi's going to be the actual bad guy in this entire thing.
Wow. Slight little details.
Yes.
Bad guy in the bloodline story?
No, in the New Day situation.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow.
So, I know we're reaching the end, but I found that clip. I want you guys to listen to the clip that I was talking about.
Okay.
I do not trust Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn, the conversation he had with Solo Sikoa, the kick to Roman Reigns, and now this phone being thrown onto the couch on Friday night. If I am the bloodline, I think that they have trusted Sami Zayn way too much to make him a part of this Survivor Series team, and I think it's going to bite them in the ass come War Games.
What other phone did Paul Heyman have in his hand when Solo Sikoa destroyed Paul Heyman's phone? That other phone had the logo of The Rock on it. Now, I don't know if I'm looking too deep into this, whatever. I love that I'm looking deep into this because we don't know. How insane would it be if somehow Paul Heyman was linking himself to The Rock?
I mean, listen. Let's be honest here. We've seen Heyman turn his back on Punk to go with Brock. We've seen Heyman turn his back on Brock to go with Roman. Like, Heyman likes to attach himself to whoever is the biggest and the best at that time.
Yep.
So if I would not put it past Paul Heyman to do that.
What if Paul called in Punk? Who would take it? Even though he said no, I could see Seth taking exception to Punk being the fifth guy. Because Seth's got it in for Punk.
That is a perfect setup for Mania. Oh, why did I not think of that? God damn you, Bully Ray.
Wow.
I know it's, and I love to I love that we have this time to spend with each other.
Well, that just gives you some more to think about right there.
Right.
Well,
So as we close the show,
Yeah.
and we're getting to next week, I think we're doing a Survivor Series type of
Predictions.
Keep that video in the back of your head and the storyline. And again, this is why Tripp is so good. This is why everybody that is underneath them, they got storylines that they are building and building and building.
Yep.
All over the place. I mean, for the first time I was like, I'm on board with the Wyatt Six. I think that's
really wow. That's a shock.
What happened? Yeah. What happened Monday? Oh my God! I'm going to say another name. I love what the Miz is doing. Yep. I love what he's doing.
You're finally.
I love what he's doing.
Yep.
Dominic, he was phenomenal in his little thing last.
He's on fire
night.
all the time.
He always.
I just think somebody said it last week. WWE is on a threshold way up here above everybody, and they're going with it, right? And they know it. They claimed no one's touching them, nothing.
Yep.
And they're proving it. And I hope the listeners are watching. I hope people subscribe to the channel. We do this Tuesday night. We talk football on Fridays. I think are we doing something special on Saturday? Saturday, I think we're all getting together or something like that here down the road to do. In December, we're going to do
in December, yes,
our award show. But there's 2 interviews this week with Huge Pop Wrestling Podcast. We have Julie Cutler. She'll be on Thursday night, and then we have this special guest that'll be on Friday.
November 22nd. I'll be on Huge Pop Wrestling Podcast. Once again, that's November the 22nd. Come see your boy Ahmed and talk to me.
So out of respect, I talked to Ahmed Johnson. I have his cell phone number and everything. We talked a little bit. And,
wow.
We will stay away from him and the conversation with Booker T and him. There's some major beef that we won't talk about out of respect. But there's a lot he has to talk about. He talks about, Nation of Domination. He's going to talk about Hulk Hogan and what he really thinks about Hulk Hogan, the Indies, and what he's doing in the community, because he's doing some things in the community that I think are pretty cool. One of the reasons why he's coming on the show, because he loves the fact that we're foster parents and we all love, what I'm saying? So it's going to be a good night. It's going to be fun. That's Friday night. My brother and I will be on it.
Nice.
You guys come in to chat. We can have questions and stuff. And yeah.
So I have a quick question, Scott. Is it okay if I announce the special panel guest that we're going to have next week?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Y'all loved them the last time we had prediction videos. So, Scott's brother Matt, Double T, will be on next week to do predictions with us. And it's going to be a fun show. It's going to be a great show. And I personally can't wait to have him back on.
Nice.
And I told him tonight, this afternoon, I said, I will be in charge and I will make sure you mind your business. And he kind of laughed. Him and I go back and forth. It's just fun. You guys are all fun. You guys are brothers to me. And I say this all the time. Yeah, You guys are a great group of guys. Huge Pop Wrestling Podcast fans. You guys are great people. Don't forget to subscribe and follow on YouTube. I will be giving away a Austin Aries autographed book for once we reach 500 followers on the YouTube channel. Every 500 follower on the subscribers, they'll get a chance on a wheel, and we'll do it live on a Tuesday night show once we get to 500. So I don't know how that's going to work. I've never given a giveaway before, but I got Cody Cornett up there. I'm sure he can figure it out. He has all the time in the world. I don't.
Well, not exactly, but I
want to go around the room. I really, before we close, I want to go around the room. Nikki D, thank you for always having some encouraging things to say on the text and all this stuff. And thanks for giving me shit about this. Get me real. I watch your videos on Snapchat. You're very professional. You got your mindset. You got your going in the right direction. You're encouraging. You're uplifting in your faith. I see that in you all the time. So I love that. I thank you for that. Cody Cornett, man, you know, I give you shit a lot, but I love what you're doing for the YouTube channel. I love the energy you bring. Unreal. It's fun to hang out with you. It's fun to listen to you. You and my brother bitch at each other. I can't wait till tomorrow. My brother will call me and say, "Hey."
Yeah, he's gonna give me something. I swear to God, he's gonna say something. The only problem I had with the show was.
Right. So I thank you to that. Enrico, man, we share the same grandkids, and I love the fact that my kids are coming up to see you on Thanksgiving or Christmas. I think it is
Christmas.
You guys, you've been with the family for a long time. You're always encouraging. I leave you a text message. I bug you all the time, and you get back with me, and I appreciate you. I love you as a brother. I just can't say
don't get back right away.
Huge Pop Wrestling Podcast, the team that we have on Tuesday nights. It's amazing. So, with that, I say, Huge Pop Wrestling's for life.